awesome character designs. Toriyama in his lifetime truly was a master character designer. We get some really cool information here where the East Kaioshin is talking to Panzy, and she's wondering, like, were you all born from trees? And it's basically East Kaioshin ends up explaining that, or at least how they're born, and is that they were born from these trees, the Glen trees, and that was like 200 plus years ago. I think he mentions upcoming with his siblings. So this is basically how they're born, and this is not too far removed from Akira Toriyama, who did an interview describing these. Now, I think some things may have been changed a little bit here in Daima, but for the most part, this is how Toriyama expressed that the Kaioshin, aka the Supreme Kais, were born. So it does a really good job of bringing this lore that he made years ago back into it. It's one of the things that I really am enjoying about Dragon Ball Daima, and we see right here that that's how the Kaioshins are born and everything, and you see an older Kaioshin there who doesn't look too much far different than the I think is it Rondai Kaioshin, which is the elderly Supreme Kai, and Goku's like, oh, so this is the reason why you basically don't you don't do anything but drink water, when it comes to consuming something. And we basically end up having here where Panzy is wondering, like, well, then your sibling, you have the siblings and everything, like your brother. And East Kaioshin actually brings up some new lore to us as he explains Degesu, and we learn and this was really cool artwork. I love the colors, the artwork. This is actually very similar to what they did with Frieza, aka Frieza, Cell, Boo, and those awesome shots. And it's through here that the East Kaioshin explains that Degesu, he ended up staying in the demon realm, and the reason why the East Kaioshin left was basically because they didn't want to be a part of this demon world. I think not too different from what Piccolo said. They like their freedom in the outside world, but Degesu, he says, was kind of different. He is a very ambiguous, I think he said, person, very ambitious. Yeah, he's very ambitious, and he didn't like doing things the way the other Supreme Kais was. So right off the bat, we can see that he is definitely quite the opposite of his brother. And this is where Panzy also says there's also a female one of you, right? And that's your sister. And this is where the East Kaioshin, and I didn't really understand this part, the East Kaioshin basically breaks down that there's no genders when it comes to the Kaioshin, even though they have characteristics such as Degesu and the Supreme Kai here. They have male characteristics, and as we see Dr. Arinsu, she has female characteristics, but yet they still refer to them pronoun-wise as he, she, and all that stuff. So I didn't really quite get that part and everything, but I guess it runs differently. Obviously, I would imagine they have to have some sort of male and female genitalia, respectively, in order to relieve themselves, since they drink water, as that would be the only purpose. No need for reproductive organs, as we see they end up getting they end up being born from trees. And we get this really cool shot of Dr. Arinsu, and like I said, I think her character design is fantastic, man. Like Toriyama, like he knows how to make some goofy looking character designs, which are fantastic, and then when it comes to creating some really awesome character designs, man, Toriyama in his lifetime truly was a master character designer. And he ends up basically explaining that Arinsu, she is basically also very ambitious, but was a mad scientist, and she too chose to stay in the demon realm. And it's a lot of mystery with her, and even seemed like the East Kaioshin wasn't too certain about his own sister. So the plot really thickens, and it was really cool to be getting some extra lore behind these two characters. And here, I thought it was very interesting. As the East Kaioshin's going on about his brother and sister, we get Glorio, who's looking very focused, and the camera zooms in on his face, and then it goes ahead and zooms in on his eye, and then his eye gets very narrow, as if, yeah, he's not going to say anything, but he's paying attention. And this was actually quite, looking back on it now, this was quite clever, considering where we're going in the later on. So yeah, once again, they're climbing out, just gorgeous backgrounds. Man, I cannot get enough of these backgrounds when it comes to Dragon Ball Daima. Gorgeous, beautiful artwork, and we see it going from sunset to sundown, and